Hey guys, this is Sam here. Welcome to yet another video on AWS Learning Series. And today we'll be covering networking and content delivery. So the idea here is to give you a brief idea or a nutshell concept about each and every one of the key components. And down the line we'll be revisiting them in a detailed manner. We'll be releasing detailed lab sessions, how to use them, how to take advantage of them and all. So we have already seen AWS global infrastructure. It's time to see networking and content delivery. When we talk about networking and content delivery, the first one is VPC. VPC stands for virtual private cloud. So virtual private cloud, what do you mean by that? So Amazon, they have an offering which will let you to provision logically isolated section of AWS cloud, where you can launch your own AWS resources in a virtually defined network. And this virtual network, you get to define that. You have the complete control over this virtual network. You get to do certain things or customization of network, like you can define your own IP address. You can change the subnet address and so on. So the idea here is to give you complete access over your own virtually defined network and host a small portion of AWS inside that. So I want you to think of them as isolated data centers. So virtual private cloud is an isolated cloud resources within AWS, and best way to remember is that by thinking of them as isolated data center. And then we have got a direct connect. As the name says, it is the way to connect directly to the AWS without using internet. It's a dedicated network connection to AWS. Way of connecting to AWS without the need of internet helps the data transport from AWS and to AWS infrastructure via secure line. The benefit is increased bandwidth, low latency. Since it is a dedicated channel, and they have offerings of 1 Gbps port and 10 Gbps port. So think about the speed, and people will be using direct connect for that. And another offering from AWS under this section is Route 53. So Route 53 is the DNS service, managed DNS service from AWS. It is a highly available and scalable domain name system or DNS web service. So what do you mean by DNS? So DNS is the service which will help you to route the end users or network traffic to internet applications or web applications by translating website names to numeric IP address. So let me give you this as an example. Let's think about this scenario wherein a user wants to hit www.google.com. What do you do first? You open up your browser. You enter the website name, human friendly website name, which is www.google.com. So DNS service, which sits in the backend, it takes this human readable website name and it converts them to numeric IP address, corresponding numeric IP address, and then you will be seeing the website content. So that's what it does. I mean, that's what a normal DNS service does. And here the service offering is called as Route 53. But why the name Route 53 for a DNS service from Amazon? Port 53, that's the actual DNS port number, the default port number for DNS, and that's how they've named it as Route 53. And to add one more thing to it, Route 66, it is the first interstate in US, and they decided to name it as Route 53 by referencing to that. And then another thing is CloudFront, another offering. So we were if you remember, we were talking about this and the edge location and content delivery network in the previous slide, global infrastructure. So this is the global content delivery network offering from AWS. Edge location is the place that caches the data. I know you will be a bit confused, but let me throw you this example. So think about this. Your data is stored somewhere in US location. You have a website or a data or a file, and someone from India wants to use your data. How the network traffic will be? The request from Indian user, it has to go all the way across to US, right? And as since the request has to travel this much or this far, there will be no network delay, and there will be no network latency. So the best way to put it is cache this data somewhere in Mumbai, so that you don't need to reach to US location. Indian users, they can easily reach to Mumbai, and the bandwidth will be very nice. I mean, there won't be any network latency. So instead of traveling all the way to US, the network request, or the request from the user, it goes to the nearby location wherein the data is cached. So CloudFront, they have something called as edge location, and edge locations are the place where the data is cached. So the second user from India, they get to access the data much quickly by accessing the Mumbai location, right? AWS Compute service, we have already seen AWS global infrastructure and networking and content delivery. And under AWS Compute, we have got 5 different offerings. First one being EC2, followed by EC2 container service. We have something called as Elastic Beanstalk. We have Lambda, and the latest addition to this is Lightsail, which was announced in reInvent 2016, and it is available in AWS service. So let's start with EC2. EC2, it's one of the popular service of AWS. Most of the people are using EC2 who are on AWS services, and this is heavily dependent upon virtualization concept. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. Basically, it's the virtual servers on the cloud. You get to spin up, or you get to scale up and down between virtual servers in just a few seconds. In a matter of a few seconds, you can launch your own instance, server instance. You get to choose the OS version, you get to choose the memory parameters, and so on. So that offering from AWS is known as EC2. Then we have something called as EC2 container service. So EC2 container service, it's basically EC2 which is configured for Docker. So Docker, if you guys are not familiar with it, it's a popular service these days, which is using container virtualization concept. So to run and manage Docker, you have Docker containers. You have this offering from AWS EC2 container service. So this doesn't come in the exam as of today, but at least having a brief overview, it is good. And then we have something called as Elastic Beanstalk, and this is very minimal, and you need to only know it in a high level. What exactly is this, and what is this capable of? That's it for the exam perspective. So Elastic Beanstalk, it's a way you run and manage web applications. So if you are a developer, just upload the code, and Amazon does the code validation, and Amazon identifies and provisions underlying resources for that requirement. That's the Elastic Beanstalk offering from AWS. Then we have something called as Lambda. It's another wonderful, that's what I would say. It is a huge and trend setting offering from AWS. This helps you to run the code without thinking, or without worrying about the underlying servers and infrastructure. You don't need to think about the underlying servers or anything. Just worry about the code, get it done, and submit it to AWS. So this is one of the powerful and expanding area of AWS. And again, from the exam perspective, it is very minimal, because it's a huge topic, and it doesn't even feature in the exam heavily. But I have a strong feeling that this will be the number one area down the line. So talking about Lambda, this is also known as a serverless architecture. You only think about the code, and whenever your code is running, you will be only charged for the code execution time. That's it. And Lightsail, it is relatively a new service which was launched a few days back, and this was announced as part of reInvent 2016. This service will allow you to launch and manage your own virtual private servers. That's all about Lightsail, but it doesn't even come in the exam since it is relatively new. Storage services. We have seen AWS global infrastructure. We have talked about networking and content delivery. We did talk about compute also. So let's see what's this storage service is all about. We have got four different key offerings from AWS under storage category. It starts with S3, then we have Elastic File System, we have Glacier, and we have also got Storage Gateway. Let's talk about S3 first. So S3, it stands for Simple Storage Service. That's why the name S3. So this is the highly scalable storage in the cloud, secure and highly reliable, and pay for what you use. That's the model which Amazon follows for S3. And let me tell you, this is the object based storage. You get to store your flat files. You cannot that means that you cannot install softwares, or you cannot install OS on that, but you get to store your own files there. Think about Dropbox. That's the service facility which is running on S3 model. You can store unlimited data on S3. And let me tell you this as well, this is one of the important topic. Once we are done with the nutshell or brief introduction about the key components, I'm gonna release a detailed video on S3 and all other components as well. So we need to pay attention to the S3, which is one of the favorite topic for the exam. And let's see Elastic File System. Elastic File System, or EFS, it is a fully managed file system for EC2 instances. We have seen under compute category, EC2 is virtual servers on the cloud. So Elastic File System, it's the dedicated storage for EC2 instances. But unlike S3, this is block level storage. And you are familiar with NAS, network area storage in your companies and all. So this is something like that, an alternative of NAS here. And you get to connect one single Elastic File System to multiple EC2 instances. That's the a thing about Elastic File System. Or you can share one single Elastic File System storage to multiple EC2 instances. Basically this is the storage for EC2 instance. And then we have something called as Glacier. So Glacier, this is for archiving, file archival. And the primary reason for this is data backup. Once you put your data into Glacier, or archive the data to Glacier, and if you want to retrieve the data back, it takes up to 2 to 4 hours retrieval time. So retrieval time, there is a delay, but it's extremely low cost compared to S3 or Elastic File System. It is extremely cheap, and this is used for backup, as I said. And this is one of the secure and low cost storage option available for data archival. And if you are planning to take a long time backup or something, this is the best option for you guys. And then the final offering from Amazon under this category is Storage Gateway. So Storage Gateway, it is a hybrid storage integration. And what do you mean by that? Maybe you have your own data center and a network, and you need to back your data up, or you need to send the data to Amazon storage. So Storage Gateway, they will be of great help here. AWS Storage Gateway is a service connecting an on-premise software appliance with cloud-based storage to provide seamless and secure integration between an organization's on-premise IT environment and AWS storage infrastructure. So it will help you to connect your own IT environment with AWS storage infrastructure. You get to move your data to AWS infrastructure. Database services. So we have already seen AWS global infrastructure, networking and content delivery. We have already covered compute service and storage. And database, it's one of the important topics for the exam. Let's talk about the key offerings from AWS in this section. We have got RDS, we have got DynamoDB, we have something called as Elasticache, we have Redshift as well. So RDS, it stands for Relational Database Service, and it consists of many databases. Amazon offers Oracle, Postgres, SQL, MySQL, and so on. They have something called as Aurora, which is their own database service. So these offerings are clubbed under RDS. and it's known as relational database service. So this is the managed relational DB services in AWS cloud, and as I said, this is one of the important topic for the exam. Then moving on, we have something called as DynamoDB. So DynamoDB, if you are familiar with database terminologies, this is NoSQL database, and this is one of the this is the managed NoSQL DB in AWS, and this is non-RDS. This is what you call non-relational database. And Elasticache, this is the in-memory cache to help the DB. What do you mean by in-memory cache? So this caches the data on the cloud to improve DB performance, and this helps to reduce the DB load. So the popular queries and other things, the results are stored in Elasticache, which is an in-memory cache. So if you want to run the popular queries, you don't Elasticache will provide you the results, and it's a great deal actually. DB performance will be improved, DB load will be reduced, and so on. And then final offering from AWS under this section is Redshift. So this is one of the another area, another managed service which provides fast, simple and cost effective data warehousing solutions from AWS. So you get to take the mirror of your existing database, and you can put it inside Redshift, which will be acting as a data warehouse. Analytics, which is another service offering from AWS. We have seen AWS global infrastructure, we have covered networking and content delivery. We have also covered compute, storage and database services as well. So let's see analytics. Analytics, it's an interesting offering from AWS. We have got Athena over there. We have something called as EMR. We have data pipeline. We have cloud search. We have something called as Elasticsearch. We have Kinesis. We have data pipeline, and we have QuickSight as well. So let's talk about Athena first. Athena, this is one of the latest offering from AWS. They've announced about Athena in reInvent 2016, and this is available in the AWS console as of today. So this is a way to query the data in S3 using SQL. So you get to utilize your S3 storage space as a place where you can run SQL queries, and you get to see the results. And then we have something called as EMR. EMR stands for Elastic Map Reduce. This is for managed Hadoop framework. This will be handling big data. And we have data pipeline. So in Amazon's words, this is a managed service for orchestration of data driven workflow. What it does is it helps you to move the big pieces of or big chunk of data from one location to another. And then we have something called as cloud search. Cloud search is the managed search service in AWS. It's a way of enabling your website or web application with enhanced search capabilities. Features like autocomplete, features like suggestion will be given here if you use cloud search. Then another thing is Elasticsearch service. So this Elasticsearch service, it lets you to run and scale Elasticsearch clusters, which is open source, and this will be available in AWS as well. We have something called as Kinesis. So work with the real-time data, streaming data, stream and analyze the real-time data. For that purpose, you can use Kinesis service. We have something called as machine learning. You know it, right? I mean, this is one of the hot and happening area in IT right now. You get to build smart applications quickly and very easily, and Amazon provides this offers to this service to developers, and it's a promising technology, you could say. And then finally we have got QuickSight. So this is a BI tool or a business analytic tool. It is one of the simplest and easiest way to use business analytics if you want to incorporate it to your network or your application. You get to do that by using QuickSight in Amazon. Migration services, it's an interesting topic, guys, trust me on that. So if you remember, this is how we started all other previous videos. This is the very first slide. The reason is pretty simple. I want you to be familiar with this. Try to remember these are the key components. These are the key components from AWS as of today. So far we have seen the items till analytics. We were covering each and every individual component in a nutshell. So talking about migration services, we have got three important topics down here. We have got DMS, we have server migration along with Snowball. So DMS and Snowball, it was already there and it was clubbed under some other component. Now in 2016 reInvent, Amazon has announced that they are coming up with migration services, another key component, and DMS and Snowball, they pushed it to this particular section, and we have server migration as well. So let's see DMS first. So DMS, it stands for Database Migration Service. It's pretty simple. As the name says, it will help you to migrate your existing database to Amazon's version of DB service. It is completely managed, easier to manage. You have the console access, you can do whatever you want. You will have complete control over your DB instance. So it's a migration service for the database, your database actually. And then server migration, it will help you to migrate your on-premises servers to AWS. Think about you having a VMware server, and you would like to migrate it to AWS. You can do it by utilizing server migration capability from AWS. And then we have something called as Snowball. Snowball, it is used for large-scale data transfer, something in petabyte scale data transfer. So use Snowball for appliances to move data from and to AWS cloud. That's why you will be using Snowball. So you get to move your larger data chunks to AWS, or from AWS, the existing data from AWS you get to download, or you get to move it to your own infrastructure through Snowball appliance. So essentially it's an appliance which has petabyte scale storage, and you can order it from Amazon. So they will send you the Snowball device or Snowball appliance, wherein you can use it for data transfer. So that's all I have in this video for you guys. Do subscribe to the channel. Let me know in case of any queries or suggestions. Thanks for watching the video, guys.